Okay, so from the outset I'm going to declare my Stargate credentials. I've seen the original 1994 movie, all of Stargate SG-1, 3 episodes of Atlantis, and none of SGU, Special Galaxy Unit. So with that on the table, I'm going to try and review Stargate Timekeepers from 2 perspectives. Does it succeed as a real-time tactics game? And does it succeed as a Stargate game? Timekeepers' story begins from the Season 7 ending of SG-1, during the Battle of Antarctica episode. We start as 2 new characters who have crashed in Antarctica during the air battle, and are making the best of a bad situation by stopping the Jafar from getting to the SG-1 team while they do their thing off-screen. The first cutscene is full of action and pew-pew, but it's nothing we haven't seen before. We transition to an in-game cinematic with voice acting which is just... It's not good. I was watching a cutscene thinking, alright, dropped right into the action. Okay, I can roll with that. Let's go. And then this.
Yeah. Ma'am. Can you move? Are you, okay?
This pulled me right out of it so quickly. So Eva McCain, who is basically Samantha Carter as far as I can tell, and Max Bolton. Sorry, that was weird. Are our starting characters. The stealth gameplay is pretty much lifted directly from Desperados 3. So, distract, bop on the head, hide the body in a bush, move on, and then do that 64 more times. And don't forget to save! Just like in Desperados, different characters have different abilities. McCain is the coin-flipping P-90 gunslinger, and Max Bolton is the whistling, invisible-punching sniper. Atar is the heavy brawler with the staff weapon, Sam is the Zat-wielding disguisomatic linguist, and Derek is the drone-throwing, lab coat-wearing, plant-loving scientist. So it's basically the Desperados cast in Stargate Drip. Now this isn't a bad thing, I loved Desperados, and I think that stealth and tactics were certainly part of the Stargate storylines. But there were also firefights, which you don't see too much of here. I will admit that I played the stealth a little fast and loose, specifically so I could get into some more open firefight action. But I got the distinct impression the game is looking at me quietly, judging me, with a "we're gonna have a talk about this when you get home" kind of vibe. At least it's not an insta-fail stealth, or some kind of judgment screen at the end of the episode saying, "Stealth Ninja Master," or, far more likely, Dwayne Johnson riding a quad bike down the stairs. When you take out the enemy Jafar, they drop their staff weapon. Now, being unarmed, I'm sure some of these characters would have the knowledge enough to shoot these things, but they never do. Not even the Jafar cast character Atar, who has won the whole time. She smacks people on the head with it, but she can't fire it? What the hell? Why can't she shoot it? I wanted to shoot the goddamn staff. Don't tell me that it would ruin the stealth, because by now I've already had McCain shoot a hail of P90 bullets and throw flash grenades, so that's a load of bull. Another thing I wanted to do, but haven't been able to, is walk through a friggin' Stargate. Didn't they occasionally do that on the TV show? I wanted that whole whoosh. Poof. Where's that? I mean, there's an opportunity between the first and second mission where we get sent off-world. Why not have it there? Even as a loading screen. Another minor niggle I have with the gameplay is that the enemy Jafar really blend into the background sometimes, like serious camouflage is going on. Many times I would play a move out and then go for it and realize there was a guy literally right next to me the whole time. Now, this is probably nitpicky. It's mostly overcome by the quick save load function, so it's hardly an issue to reload. And you can also use a line of sight function to identify which enemies can see a certain point on the map, so you can plan better. And I freely admit that I did not use this function, so that's probably more on me than the game, but it would be nice to have maybe an enemy outline function or a button for a specific area. I did have a few crashes to desktop plague my run through. It was a pain, but again, thankfully the save reminder and the quick load times, which I'll come back to, kept me from total keyboard abuse. There was a fair amount of model collision, particularly in bushes, which is just amusing more than being an actual problem, but it does speak to some likely limited playtesting if they didn't spot it, because it happens a lot. In fact, the whole game feels unpolished. I lost count of the number of misclicks. I would click on an enemy to see his vision cone, and it wouldn't register. I click on my characters to select them, and it wouldn't register. Far more damning than these though, is the failed execute button, after planning a very detailed attack pattern. Here, I'm in a prison with about 7 enemies who are temporarily incapacitated, and need tying up or potentially punching. Despite clear orders and pressing execute, my crew just stand around as if it's all too much. This happened so frequently, I went through 3 different mice just to check it wasn't me. This probably was one of the most frustrating things that I experienced in this game. It's so important to have tight working controls for the real-time tactics genre games, and Timekeepers just doesn't. Sorry, let me just add one more bug I experienced. I wasn't able to complete the 4th mission despite being at the objective. I spent 10 minutes running back and forth trying to work it out. In the end, a save and reset of the game was what fixed it. Let me talk about some of the positives for a bit. Before each mission, there's a previously on intro cutscene. It's a cute addition to remind you of the TV show. A bit ham-handed, but I really liked it. Another thing that's good is the short load times. This game fires up really quickly between saves and loads and everything. Even if you screw up, it loads like a dream. During the missions, when you've got to coordinate a few actions by 2 or more characters, and timing is critical, there's the synchronize button, which is excellent. I don't remember that being in Desperados 3, but I really appreciated it here. It allows you to time the actions between 2 or 3 characters such that the impact or the important point are all occurring at the same time. Excellent idea. Last thing, I like the little Stargates that have chevrons that light up as the level loads. Nifty. Too bad it's the only goddamn Stargate you'll actually see. It's actually taken me a while to put this video together because I kept noping out of my recording sessions, mostly from boredom. I've actually written a note here after the 1st mission and again after the 4th mission. Gameplay boring, kept walking away, which sucks because I generally like this kind of real-time tactics gameplay. Timekeepers has released with 7 levels, with another 7 to be released at a later time, included in the original purchasing price. So it's a pay now and game later kind of deal, which also leaves a little bit of a bad taste in the mouth. Overall, I have to say I think Timekeepers fails at being a Stargate game for all of the reasons mentioned. No Stargate, lack of firefights, can't fire the Mokhtar staff weapons, and pretty phoned in voice acting. It's at times an okay RTT, but with the failing execute button and the fact that there's much better versions of this kind of genre of game, it begs the question, why would you bother with Stargate Timekeepers?